You Must Become Masters of Energy by Archangel Michael, September 11th, 1953. Ah, my beloved children, how long have I known those spirits cast round in garments of flesh? How long have I been the guardian of the flame of faith and hope, and relief in the ultimate manifestation of God good through the heart of all evolutions, walking the pathway of earth? How often have I taken you in my arms at the close of an earth life, when weary the soul with the small harvest, gardened from your experience. You passed through the portals of death and stood bewildered and alone at the other side of the veil. How often in my arms have I carried you into the beautiful temple of the sleepers and placed your weary soul upon the couch of life, kissed your closed eyes, bathed your etheric body with the substance of peace, and let you rekindle their energies required for your journey to the halls of karma. How often have I stood by that coach and awakened you gently with the dread word the judgment hall was waiting, and within the circle of my own arms of light have you walked into that hall and stood before that great impersonal tribune, where you timidly heard your record read. Then may my strength, breathed into the essence of your being, enabled you to stand erect and ask for the opportunity to make restitution of life, to make restitution to life. How often within my own embrace have you left those council halls and entered into the schoolroom of life and prepared again for the journey through the world form? How many times has your sweet spirit been cast round in the bands of forgetfulness in my own hands? How often have you kissed upon your own brow, been the last remembrance of the realm of angels? You passed through the gates of birth into the world of form. I know you well, each soul, each heart, each spirit. I know your hopes, your aspirations, your strengths, your weaknesses, and I love you, because from the Father's own throne and from the heart of the great eternal, I came forth to become the guardian presence of hope and faith within the spirit of man, that I shall never lay down the sword, fold my garments upon me, and return to the purification to the realm which is my home. While these remains in a soul in the shadow, a heart in pain, a spirit in bondage, I have stood in the presence of God of the universe, and I have bathed them in the effulgent aura of his love, and it is my joy, my privilege, and my honor to embody his nature and to carry the love of God to all created form. Oh, the joy of serving him, the joy of carrying hope into the hearts of man. Would that might fire your feeling world with the joyous enthusiasm in your service to life that is bound, that you, too, like an angelic host, might find only happiness in loving free life. The beauty of the great mighty Father, the exquisite perfection of his complement, your own celestial mother, how can I describe them in words? Yet from those breathing heartbeats comes the life essence, which is your own identity, comes the constant flowing stream of electronic light, which sustains the physical form and gives intelligence to the mind, continuity of the consciousness, and activity to the vehicles you presently inhabit. Oh, that you might be the glory of sight of your own God presence, that stream of electronic light that anchors beneath your heart and within your heart, that flows forth with every heartbeat in your world and becomes that which you decree. Ah, life is what you applied before the throne of eternal life, which you were brave enough to invoke, draw forth, qualify, and release it into the universe, bearing your stamp and your name, life that can only be given to the Father, Mother, yours for asking. And yet, what have you made of it? What have you made of this exquisite, pure electronic substance by which the Elohim have built the suns, the stars, the planets, by which the Godhead has created the angelic beings, divas, cherubim, and sephrim? Each one of you had made your own bodies, referring to the condition that they are presently in, your own words, and he who runs may read. I bring you again to the reminder of the opportunity that is within you to use of life each moment, for it flows constantly. Ever since you first applied to the heart of the Father for individual identity and to the opportunity to express the world of form, life has been given to you. All that you have asked for, and through your own mental and feeling world, you have molded this life into form, into substance, into every manifest creation of good and evil. We live, beloved ones, to set life free. You are the voices that now cry in the wilderness, for you too, within the heartbeat, desire freedom, a way and means by which you may become the master of molding and directing your own life. By your presence within this room, you have signified to the universal first cause that you desire to rise again into the dignified mastery of the gods and goddesses, and through control and directed life, expand the borders of the kingdom, and it is good. And at the head of the cosmic hierarchy stands the lords of the world, Sanakurama, who represents the King of Kings to this evolution. At the head of the elemental kingdom stands the Mahachohan, the final authority for that elemental life. At the head of the angelic kingdom stands the humble self. We are the Trinity who forms the apex of the triple evolution that runs parallel through the planets of the system. Sanakarama, Mahachohan, and Saint Michael, and which by divine decree were intended to walk hand in hand in conscious cooperation in the development and maturing of the planet star of freedom. Since the veil of the Maya closed the sight of man to the glory of the angelic host, and closed his ears to the music of the spheres, the elemental kingdom has served in silence, in suffering, in indignities that we shall not describe. The angelic kingdom has served unknown, unhonored, and unsung, except for the short Christmas season when they are honored. We are, you know, at the end of the great age, which will close with the drawing of the essence of earth and the souls of men into perfection, and it is ordained by the intelligence which has governed this great universe that the three kingdoms, the angelic, human, and elemental, shall worship together, serve together, and walk together along the pathway of life into that freedom. And this is the service of the ceremonial ray, under to your own beloved Lord and Master Saint Germain. It is the service which will bring to consciousness of the people a realization of the presence, guidance, and love of the angelic host and the elemental kingdom, as well as the consciousness that you desire to unite the energy of the individual life into weaving a mantle of immortality for the earth. And how shall I describe to you the consciousness of the angels? Ah, the sweet angels among you, I love you. It is not easy to wear garments of flesh, but in your service shall our kingdom be known more quickly. Elementals among us and you, I love you, and long have you served, and selflessly. And precious guardian spirits from the stars, do you remember the day when we came to the heart of the sun and walked over the bridge of electronic light into the atmosphere of earth? With us, the innocents, precious life streams, who were to have their first opportunity to master energy through thought and feeling on this planet. And do you remember the tenderness in our hearts for these budding souls, the love, all the love, that made us each forswear our freedom and the joy and happiness of the realms of perfection. As we vowed before God, who made us, to remain until the entire evolution has fulfilled its destiny. Do you remember happiness of those days, when angels, seraphim, and cherubim walked among men, and when elementals and flowers and trees and lakes and mountains were visible to the physical sight of the evolving race before the Langards and the other systems entered our planet? These were the sweet and happy days, the days of the Garden of Eden, and those days shall come again. They shall come first through the people like you and us, yourselves, who can believe that the angelic host and the masters of wisdom are capable of reaching through the veil, taking you by hand, and revealing to you the way back home, through the power and their own love and light. How sweet to see you standing at the threshold of veils, with your hands stretched through the veil and holding ours. How sweet to see your heartbeat, the glorious immortal flame of life eternal, raising like a magnet to draw our presence. How sweet to know that you love life and desire to set it free. And that is why I am here. That is why the Lords are here, the great council, we are gathered, made it plain to us that it was our desire, one after another, that the members of the ascended masters and angelic kingdoms should come and present a clear, definite, and distinct picture of our reality, our particular service to life, which might convey to your consciousness a conviction that we are real, as you are, that we have a design for living and a purpose in being, and we are willing to direct the full weight of our cosmic and gathered momentum into the aura of consciousness of any son or daughter of man willing to live for the whole. And how can I describe to you the consciousness of the angels? Ask I again. The angels live only to radiate the natural nature of God, the virtue of God. They do not labor, they shine. They stand around the throne of the great, mighty, eternal Father and Mother, and plunging into the living sea of the aura until their bodies are vibrant. With their light, they then, at God's dictation and direction, sweep outward, carrying the essence of the substance of faith, hope, love, and healing to the four corners of the kingdom. And looking into a room full of people such as this, the angelic host would not see your forms. They would see merely the light and shadow of your own life streams. The human evolution, dear ones, is particularly centered and concerned with the creation of form. They are concerned only with the taste of the mental body, by which is cut out of the universal substance a particular design corresponding with an idea, and then through the action of the feeling world, the energizing of that form, giving it life and lowering of it into the third dimensional plane. The consciousness of the elementals is to become that form, the sacrifice of their freedom, their happiness, and their joy, and to enter into the thought pattern of the developed man, giving form into the idea of their own life. The consciousness of the angels is to draw the radiance through the form, giving it life, directing it, and filling the universe with blessings. Now you should stand an elemental, a man, and an angel before your chalice. This is how it would appear to each consciousness. The elemental would see all of his life and little friends within the glass that make up that form, their shining faces, their tiny bodies, sustaining the outline of the cup and the stem. And the man would see the glass and judge its worth, perhaps to wonder if it were crystal or otherwise. And the angel would see the powers of the sacred fire drawn by your beloved leader into the cup and flowing through it. The activities of all three kingdoms are necessary to have perfect manifestation within the world form. Can you understand then how necessary it is for you, among the members of the human race, to come to an understanding of the elemental's consciousness and cease the name of God creating thought forms which the elementals are forced to fill with their own light bodies? and which are a restoration to life, imprisoning them sometimes for centuries in physical vortices which would cause you to faint were you to look upon them with the inner eye. O God, see the imprisoned elemental life, intellectual substance, mind you, the obedience to the decree of some human being is suffering incarnation in these vortices of lust and anger, of hate and resentment. My heart cries out for men and women who are willing to set this life free. And the light of the elemental kingdom has been unwilling to servant of man since the last golden age passed from the screen of life. Look at men's bodies today. In the name of God, each one made a shining being of light, in the image of likeness to their eternal Father, yet they have become disoriented into garments of decay. I shall spur mankind on my own presence in this universe, and I have not idly offered to remain 20 hours of every 24 hours within the astral realm in which their consciousness abide. I am giving my life to release the imprisoned energy within the thought forms which make up the astral realm. Do you know how many countless centuries the angels of the blue ray, the angels of my legion, I have spent cutting souls free? From what? From their own externalized thought and feeling. And yet again and again and again, the elemental life is drawn forth and imprisoned. I implore you, you have been professed to love life. Think well of use your thought and an ongoing energizing power of your feelings. I do not say this to make you tense, unhappy, or unduly reasonable for the entire realm in which I function. Beloved ones, messengers of God have come and gone, the shining light of blue Buddha, the blessed presence of Jesus, and yet the race is little further ahead. Perhaps an individual soul to cut free here and there within a year, but the masses are still drawing life, imprisoning the elemental substance, and it must not be. The beloved Jophiel, my brother, is the teacher to the angelic host, as Lord and world teacher of mankind. It is a lovely thing to see the angels learning how to control energy. Would that you might come with me and see them. The small ones are just filled with love, drawing that light from the body of God, unable to contain it long within themselves, emanating it from their bodies quickly, something like sparklers on 4th of July. Gradually, as they develop and evolve, these blessed ones are able to hold the light for longer periods of time. Finally, one day, when they can embody love or peace or healing, they can be trusted to enter the lower realms where resistance and discord abide. They are sent on a mission. Their bodies are filled with energy, shining and vibrating with the quality which they have chosen, and they come into the aura of mankind, and they are not accustomed to the human resistance and the unbelief of the peoples. It is a disappointing to their sweet hearts when they bring gifts of grace and it is not accepted, but they learn and are learning, and they grow and are growing. And as I come over a large prison tonight, I wish that you could see the thousands of angelic beings standing in the atmosphere over that place. Would that you could see the heart cries rising from the souls whose karma has placed them there. And I wish that you could see for a moment the silent watcher, who is the guardian of the institution, weaving through prayers and heart cities and cries into the great stream of life. This he directs upward to one of the great cosmic angels of healing, who in turn send back the healing currents from Lord Raphael's temple, also directing countless of hundreds of angelic beings to carry that healing to any soul receptive of its presence. Oh, there is so much going on around you, and there is so much going on in the great universe. Every being within your kingdom is serving the maximum development of his own consciousness, capacity, and ability. Do you ever know that every member of the hierarchy is making application for an initiation that would increase his or her ability to serve? And did you know that the 7 archangels belonging to our Sun, my humble self included, are taking initiations which will enable us to condense our radiation and release more light, more faith, and more hope? And did you know that we feel because we are of cosmic fiat, because we are cosmic lights of the hour, and that it is required of each one of us to become the strength of 100, whether our realm or in yours? And what are you doing to increase or intensify your capacity to serve not only for your higher self, but for God that has made you and sustained you for this day? And I ask you this in kindness, because life has invested heavily in sustaining your souls, your bodies, your presence in this universe. And I, who have stood beside you in the judgment hall before the lords of karma, bring to you your remembrance the fact that you must render an accounting for such an investment. Beloved children of God, you are not helpless. While life beats in your hearts, you are a master of power of the universe, which elementals and angels must obey. Arise now in the mastery and dignity of your own life. Fulfill the vow which you took before the sun of the system when you offered to guard the peoples of earth. You must become a master of the energy flowing through your thought and feeling words from today. You must become master of the energy flowing through your thought and feeling worlds from today. This hour, right now, we stand ready, and through the power of our own hearts, light shall, with every cell and atom in our beings, assist each such one to attain his or her eternal flame. May I thank particularly those among this assembly who have made so constant in their calls to me, which have made such possible in my service. May I assure you that the calls made to my heart are the greatest joy, and they open to me a door into the realm of darkness, and through which I may serve. And may I tell you, each and every one of you, how much we love you, how close the angels are, how desirous we are for standing visibly within a room, such as lifting our voices with your songs in praise to God of life, and how eager we are to stand by your side when you invoke the presence of God, and flashing the flame of fire of our being through yours directed call, being instantaneous, rather a release from the shadows. We have spoken now for many years, and we have enjoyed our words, but now will you stir yourselves into action? In the name of God, come forth now and be that guardian presence which I am. May the blessings of the eternal Father and Mother, blessings of the angels, the cherubims and the seraphims, be upon you to fill your households. And may the faith in God's pulsate through your heartbeat, disassociating your feelings forever from fear of the appropriate world. It is time now that my sons and daughters of God no longer consider as a security a crust of bread, a roof to protect them from elements, or a hope that the declining years they may have some type of peace and a happy passing into the discarnated form. In God's name, change your thinking process. Raise your consciousness. Allow it to be raised. Square your shoulders. Hold them back high. Put on the vestments of your own spiritual nature. Take the scepter of your God self in your hands. Command substance and energy to yield to the perfection that is within your hearts, and be a comfort to life. I challenge you today, right now, this second. I shall be watching to see what you have done with my suggestions. I love you endlessly with all my heart and soul, for our hearts are ever eternal. We love you. Thank you. Amen.